Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. Today we're having a look at a video by Royalty is Here called the Vrchat Sleeping Problem. Okay, so this goes out to y'all who has been on VRChat. Okay, so what's the sleep problem in VRChat? Basically people sleeping in VR in VRChat, and it's fucking weird, that's all I'll say about it. And for y'all who don't know what VRChat is, okay, so if you guys ever seen the movie Ready Player One, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, we're back again, aren't we? VR chat. What episode are we on of this now? Like the Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
I have indeed done a lot of
I don't recommend VR chat.
But this was a video I was going to do till I got sidetracked with another video that came my way. A significantly more deplorable one. FFI made an update video on that situation, by the way.
There's a lot of weird people in VR chat.
hours in this game.
Oh, no.
Ha! He's got me beat. I only got 2K on my Steam. I am such a loser.
It's like the 10th time I've used this bit. I'm not doing it again. Doing 3 veteran tours and witnessing the worst of war zones the game has to offer, like the front lines of Saigon, that would induce shell shock on the most ordinary people, like the Black Cat and God forbid
oh
H
god,
Party.
the Black Cat.
The latter one, do not Google.
Yeah, the H Party, I heard it's not great. Never been in that place in VR chat, and I don't ever want to go there. Oh, God. Anyway, let's continue.
Do not visit it. You will thank me. But
yes.
Basically, I am more than qualified to
I just heard about it.
More than anyone you know. I earned my stripes. But most of my hours in this game were during COVID.
Do you know Dewey?
That's my only excuse. But before I get into the topic of today's video, I need to rearrange my foreskin. 1 second.
What?
Yes, the production quality of these
He's
videos
using a
has
VR
gone up
chat
slightly.
avatar.
I did try to commission an avatar for this video, but there is no way I'm paying 500 plus bucks for a bed PNG to be placed on a free male model asset. And considering I did most of the design work, that took me a whole hour to do by the way, I would have definitely won the kindergarten art competition. So we're going with this avatar today. No, I'm not an e-boy.
Sure.
And add it to the list of incorrect slurs levied against me to this day. It was between this, a Rigby avatar, Shinji, Lelouch from the best anime ever made, or a bird avatar that's mouth doesn't even move. I did this all for you, by the way, you ungrateful
or Shinji.
fuck. But anyway, believe it or not, there are many sides to VR chat. Admittedly, some I have covered in the past, but believe it or not, this game is still nowhere near dead. It's 10 years fucking old, by the way. It's got loyal
There's still a lot of
on the
people
same level as people
it.
from the original CS, till CS2 came out.
Do I miss CSGO already? Maybe.
Even though I know
I couldn't get
VR
into
chat
CS.
has a terrible reputation, nowadays
I just don't play
mostly
Counter-Strike.
the worst
What the
of this
fuck
game.
is that?
Holy fuck.
Me?
Yes, but rules are rules.
Mom?
The fuck? Holy
Wait,
shit.
wait, don't unplug the internet. Wait, please don't unplug the internet.
But I'm probably overdosing on copium here when I say those people only account for less than 10% of the whole player base, and most belong in a padded cell. I'm talking about the public lobbies, public shows of affection, to a disappointing degree.
Your little pussy belongs to me,
What the fuck?
and you're gonna learn to do it.
Bios longer than Luke 642 showing off mental disorders like badges of honor, and I don't know why this is only for VR chat. Well,
By the way, there's a lot of people in VR chat that are like those schizos on Twitter and Blue Sky. They put in a full ass bio as if they were on Blue Sky or Twitter, where they fucking let's just say pronouns in bio, and you can imagine how insane they are. I would know. I've been on VR chat. I've met some of those people, and they are just as schizo as they are on Twitter and Blue Sky. Jesus Christ. Also a lot. Another thing about like those schizos in VR chat. Some of them claim to have like a mental illness that they don't actually have, because they think it makes them look better or something. I don't fucking know. They're fucking weird.
a lot of people within VR chat apparently have DID. I don't know why. I thought it was like a...
They don't have DID. They just want to have it because they think it's cool to have a mental illness. Meanwhile, actual people with mental illness, those mental illnesses that they pretend they have, are suffering. Like actual people. Also, it pisses them off. Like, for real.
Rare drop. But despite all of this, the Steam charts of this game show that the game is still growing even to this day. Albeit a bit slow, but it's doing better than Titanfall 2 that released around the same time. The game's never coming back. EA completely fucked it.
I think I just downloaded Titanfall. Just... Damn it, EA, why do you keep focusing on Apex? No one really likes that game anymore.
Obviously, this doesn't include other platforms
just
like
give us Titanfall 3.
Predominantly owned by children, which I still think to
it's
this
never
day
happening.
Was a cardinal mistake. A worse mistake than that one video involving someone's puckered anus in a jar.
Huh? No.
But you've now got so many different parts and communities to this game, like the raving and dancing scene. Fairies. Don't ask them a question about computing. God. They will not shut the f up. You've got...
Okay, the furries of VRchat gross me out. That's all I'll say.
Role players. Drinking. The losers, also known as mirror dwellers.
Yeah.
The avatar creators and world creators who are making absolute bank in this game and are probably not paying taxes. Hey, I'm just saying, apparently if you report them to the IRS, you get a cut of that money. The people that make content on this game. The small amount of people that only get onto the mini-games. And trolling, which it's been known for recently.
Fairly sensitive.
What, she was saying she was allergic to virtual tomatoes?
Yeah.
I used to troll people on here. I was bored.
Music and concerts. You've got dating and gooning occurring on the platform. There's even groups for both now, but we've spoken enough about that on this channel. And you've got the people that just get on to speak to people. Probably because their AoE effect inhibits them from doing it IRL. But that is VRchat nowadays, and it's still growing. But there's one activity and community I wanted to speak about today that has quite possibly been around since the start of the game. And it's something that has worlds specifically designed around it and for it. There's still public lobbies where you can find people huddled in groups doing it, and it's something that is viewed as fairly normal within the community, but people outside the VRchat sphere would probably be somewhat stunlocked upon hearing it exists.
Listen, I was in VRchat a lot during COVID lockdown, and I still find this weird that people do that. They just sleep in VR, and it's fucking weird to me.
And that is VRchat sleeping. Sleeping is something that is natural for us all, and we all definitely require it to some capacity, unless you want to be as coherent as XQC.
Took a lot of damage. I dropped them by accident, like an idiot.
Yo, can you speak English?
Or if you want to look like something straight out of a failed Russian sleep experiment. But we all need sleep, just some of us do it in different ways. Some need specific lighting. Some sleep in a certain posture or position. Some even a specific routine, or they can't sleep. But to those of you that fall asleep to anime female ASMR, to give yourself that false fallacy that is someone loving you in order to lull yourself to the dream world, you cannot make fun of the people I'm about to describe. You are on the same level. And don't even get me started on the dick warming community. But VR sleeping are basically a...
Excuse me, what? Hold on. There was a definition.
Don't even get me started on the dick wall.
Okay, you know what? I'm not reading that.
Community. But VR sleeping are basically a graphical radiator on your eyes, which wearing for a short amount of time anyways would give you something similar to a sunburn that looks like the VR has left its own cock print on you. And if you look at the VR screen for long enough, you could probably count the monitor lines impressed on your eyes for quite a bit after using the headset. So how can you sleep in VRchat? Why would you want to sleep in VRchat? What are the many problems and benefits, if any, of doing this? And how...
I gotta ask, is it when these people go sleepy time in VR, isn't it uncomfortable with all those trackers on them? Because I knew people who would do this shit, and it made me cringe and also I just thought it was weird, but they always had like the full body tracking, like it tracked their entire body with all their trackers on them, and then not only that, they got the headset on, which the headset's usually pretty heavy. So how the fuck do they go to sleep with all that shit on them? Especially the headset itself, it's heavy. I mean, I suppose it depends on what kind of headset. Like, I just got a light Oculus one, like the Oculus Quest 2, because I don't want to buy any more VR headsets. That's because I could just connect it to the PC and it works fine. But that one was made to be light because it's supposed to be wireless. If you use a good VR headset, isn't that uncomfortable? Just trying to sleep with all that shit on? What the fuck?
Have I myself tried it?
Oh yeah, I have like an old ass Quest. Quest 2?
So for some of you that are experienced with sleeping in Vrchat, I know you're watching, you little e-couple having pixel sleeping losers, you may recognize this music.
Jesus. Also, my lip sync seems off.
If not, this is the music for the world Rest and Sleep. A world that has been around for my knowledge as early as 2019, maybe earlier.
Okay, I've been to this world once to troll people. Like, because I knew there were, like, people, for some reason, sleeping in this Vrchat map. So what I would do is I had a meme Link avatar that would, like, I could make yell really loud. It's just Link yelling really loud, and it would never stop. So I would sometimes just join this random world, go look for someone that seems to be sleeping, like a group, I think last time I went to last time I trolled people in this world, it was like a group of people were trying to go to sleep because, I don't know. Listen, I was bored. And I just started to make the Link avatar scream, and then they're all, "Hey, can you please cut that? Stop that? We're all trying to sleep here." And I just didn't answer. I just continued with it, and then I got kicked out. Listen, I was bored. Okay, sure. Was it douchey? Sure, but I don't know. Listen. When I was on Vrchat a lot, I would just troll people because I was so fucking bored. God damn it. Was I like the equivalent to a nuisance streamer except in Vrchat? Fuck. And also the second time I just showed up with like 2 other people, and we were, I was Makarov, and we did the no Russian thing. Because I believe that world had like when you entered it, you were in an elevator, and I was Makarov, and yeah, we got kicked because the Call of Duty sounds were loud. Remember, no Russian.
But many remember this.
I used to troll people in Vrchat,
and by the name of it, you can probably tell what people are doing in this world. If
I
not, your head
found
might be as thick
the right
as a
avatars
Toyota
anyway.
Corolla. People for years now have come to worlds like this for sleeping, even to this day. This world wasn't the first, and it isn't the last, but it's quite
it's
possibly
pretty old.
the most known. I actually
think.
remember coming to this world years ago and watching people mess with the people asleep.
I'm blocking every single.
Yeah, that was me. I would be loud.
They would always put
And
that one
fuck.
turkey video on the video player full blast to wake them up.
Alright, door's open. Get out.
Ah, good times.
Okay,
People
I
come here
don't know
to
what that
sleep.
is.
In fact, I'm here right now.
I just
looking
had
at these
loud
idiots
avatars.
sleeping in the virtual world. I am totally here right now. Yes, this is a public instance, anyone can join, and some of these people are fully asleep. Now, it would be funny to play something like a raid siren and flashing lights to test the percentage of people that have acute epilepsy, but that actually used to be a prominent problem and something we'll talk about later. But yes, these people joined a public world just to fall asleep. Some are even cuddling. Don't worry.
Okay, if you're gonna do this weird shit, just please, for the love of God, don't do it in a public world. If you're gonna do this shit and then get mad when someone comes around trolling you with like loud, like a loud soundboard or loud avatars like I used to do because I was bored. God, I was such a dick. Don't do it in a public lobby. That's just asking for like trolls to come fuck with you. Anyway, continuing.
They're both gonna find out eventually they're both guys. But why did they do this? Why did they come to a world, or even worse, a public world, to sleep where people can quite easily disturb them and point and laugh at their chronic problems? Well,
yeah,
one reason
I
I found when I looked around was the term social sleeping. It's apparently common for animals to do this, and it's been hypothesized we do it as well and gain all the same benefits. Because apparently in our evolution, even though we've progressed through the tech tree, we still hold some traits from when we were cavemen.
Jesus.
No, that is not an excuse for you to use when explaining to your parents why the body pillow for your favourite VTuber can stand up on its own and smells like cottage cheese. But there was one peer-reviewed study I found that mentions the social sleeping hypothesis. Yep, this is straight nerd shit. Keep in mind, this is a hypothesis. The VRChat players aren't out the boiling water yet. But it says social sleep is something that especially our ancestors benefited from an increase in security and sleep quality. So you basically get the buff of comfortability and sleep quality when sleeping with a person or a group. But the context for this is doing it in person. Why do it in VRChat?
I was about to say that.
Some people online, when speaking about sleeping in VRChat, speak about these same benefits. They like sleeping in the virtual world with people they possibly don't even know, because it makes them feel more comfortable and less alone. The VRChat players are never escaping the allegations with this one. But if you find sleeping in VRChat in a puddle of people improves your sleep, power to you. I just don't understand the people on desktop without a VR doing it. At that point, just go back to the S.
Wait. People on desktop do that? I thought the point of all that shit was you were in VR. I don't know. Maybe the people on desktop are just bored. I don't know.
But there are incentives to sleeping in VR.
Don't do that,
again,
bored desktop users. Just do what I do. Troll people.
VR, and each have their own experience.
Well, I don't troll people anymore because I'm
sleep in a deep forest with a waterfall with a
I hardly get on VR
chat. You can
chat.
sleep in the void of space watching the stars go by. You can sleep on top of water listening to the gentle waves, or even under the water itself. Or maybe
you could go to Night City and become an edge runner. I'm making a joke because there used to be a Night City map. Like someone ripped Night City out of the game Cyberpunk and made it a map. Was it ever released to the public? Because I knew a creator that was doing that. Like they ripped out all of Night City and you could just roam Night City. Which was awesome because I had like Cyberpunk avatars. I think that I don't know if that map ever got released. I know there's other. Sorry, I'm going off topic.
You're like me and personally like the pitter-patter of rain, which is the average UK weather to help lull you to sleep. They have a world for that as well. Or maybe you're a psychopath that wants to sleep.
I just like looking at the Cyberpunk stuff people made on
at a party because your crush brought a date. If you like to be cooked, I guess. But you can even find YouTube videos showing you the best worlds to fall asleep in. Some people just want to sleep in different atmospheres, and they come to VR to do that. And once again, these worlds and game itself support the sleeping community. There are even unofficial Steam add-ons like Oyasumi VR, which makes it even easier to fall asleep in VR. By doing things like automatic brightness and GPU power decreasing when it detects you are sleeping, and auto-accepting invites.
Why?
Yeah, fuck that shit. Why the fuck would you want that? No.
Yeah, that's... Why the fuck would... Huh? I don't... Yeah, I don't know what is the whole point of the auto-invites. I don't... Like, if you're in, like, a... Let's say you're in a private world and, like... Why would you want to invite... Okay, never mind.
During VR chat, someone would wake up to someone else tenderizing their meat.
Thank you.
What? What the fuck? They must be a fan of the Ghostbusters because they sound like they would say, "Bustin' makes me feel good." Like, what the fuck?
Cause
The fuck did I just hear?
VR with their long-distance relationship partners, kind of like what they do on Discord. It's
Oh,
the
God.
closest you're ever going to be with them, buddy. And make sure to mute yourself, they don't want to listen to your sleep apnea. But while sleeping in virtual reality is generally accepted in the VR chat community, it does come with a lot of problems.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Prank him, John. You already know.
I mean, there's the trolls, obviously.
So probably the biggest question and problem you can think of regarding
their own
this
fault
is probably,
if
is
it's a
sleeping
public.
in VR actually good for you, and can you get some good quality sleep from it?
No.
But once again, would you think sleeping with a graphical
don't think so.
radiator emitting copious amounts of blue light, even with your eyes
You need to
closed,
take
would
some
help you
rat
sleep?
away.
But if you don't know what blue light is, it usually comes from things like the sun, but can also be found in things like digital screens, like the thing you're looking at right now and the headset people would be wearing in VR. It affects sleep because it fools your brain into thinking it's daytime, and it affects your body's release of things like melatonin. So basically, it makes it harder to sleep, harder to stay asleep, and harder for your brain
Yeah.
to fully turn off. But don't worry, I believe most of you already turned your brain off. It's usually recommended you stay away from blue light 2 hours before bed, but let's be honest, none of us do that. I'm even guilty of it. But with VR, you are constantly being bukkake with blue light, which means sleeping is pretty hard. Looking at other videos of creators that have shared their experience with sleeping in VR chat and conducted their own experiments, like twice in the virtual reality show, both had some trouble sleeping in VR, either due to the bulky headset or waking up occasionally. But even
That's what I'm saying, isn't it like a very uncomfortable with that headset on? Headset, and then again, if they're sleeping in full body VR, which I don't know why the fuck you would, because the batteries are gonna die on the trackers that are tracking your like legs and shit. Isn't it uncomfortable having all that shit on you? Especially the headset, since that's like the part that weighs the most.
I can corroborate these claims because I've also slept in VR chat. Yes, before you write a comment with a range of derogatory terms and perhaps a racial slur customized for VR chat players, I have slept in VR chat. But that was during my heydays of the game, like 2020. Haven't done it since, and it was only like 2 times, one intentionally
Never
and
have.
unintentionally. But the first time I was in a private instance with people I knew, at an ungodly time because Europeans on this game suffer the most, and I probably had some chill music in the background like Nuja Bez, and I fell asleep in a lobby, completely vulnerable. But I awoke 2 hours later and everyone was gone. I was all alone in a cozy world. Nobody bothered to wake me. And thank God I was not hot making, because that would have been a terrible time to realise I snore. I still to this day don't know if I do. But it was actually a really good sleep. I felt pretty comfortable. But keep in mind, I was in a bed. Yeah, I used to play VR chat in my bed. Yeah, I'm a lazy bastard. Shut the fuck up. But
Oh my god. That's like those people who brag about, oh, I bought full body tracking for VR chat. And then all they do the entire time, their entire session in VR is sit down in front of a mirror until their full body tracker's batteries die. And then they said, oh, okay, I gotta go now. My trackers are gonna die. Bitch, you didn't even use the full VR. You just sat there all... What the fuck?
in my dazed state, I went back to sleep and woke 4
Just
hours
sat
later
the
to
entire
the fans
time.
of my PC
What
hitting
was
at
the
least
point of wasting
10K
your money on
RPM,
all that?
like it was trying to load the average VTuber breast
Milky.
size. The sun absolutely demolishing my eyes and a red imprint around my face where the headset
Jeez.
was. I promptly took the headset off, turned off my struggling PC, and it felt like I hadn't slept at all. Like it felt like I slept
I have a
only an
potato
hour.
PC.
also
I
had
would
a
just
slight
shut it off
headache
and
felt
go
like I'd just
sleep
been
like a regular
brutally beaten
person
by something
in-
like the Penetrator from
not in
Saints Row.
VR.
It was a terrible sleep, but I was really comfortable, except for the cement block that was on my head, known as the headset. It was quite the experience. Maybe it was something to do with the environment, the gentle music in the world, or the ambience in the background. But I actually really liked it, I just didn't like the after effects. The next time would be a lot more intentional, as a month later I was struggling to sleep. No matter what I did, I just couldn't sleep. It was probably down to something like insomnia, and this lasted for a few nights. I was barely sleeping. So remembering my previous experience, I booted up my PC and VRChat, picked the same world as last time, laid down, and it took about 10 minutes and I was out cold. And from personal experience, I can say sleeping in VR improves comfort at the cost of some quality of sleep and possibly preventing your body from going into that deep sleep phase. I woke up multiple times throughout the night and probably didn't get my full night of REMs, but I fell asleep quicker, for longer, and was more comfortable. And probably due to the fatigue afterwards, my sleep went seemingly back to normal and I could pass out almost instantly.
Any y'all ever go to sleep and you just wake up tired? I used to do that a lot. Never knew why.
Instantaneously again. Without the VR headset, it was a good hard reset. Now, other people's experiences are probably very different. I don't know if you can get used to a high-powered torch in your face when you're sleeping, and I didn't test the social sleeping thing because 100% I do not trust VR chat players with my unconscious VR corpse. But my experience was a long time ago. The game
there's always
worlds
those
have adjusted to accommodate
weird people that join
sleep in VR. And there's even tutorials and metas for sleeping in VR now, so if I did it today, which I definitely won't, I enjoy my routine of listening to streamers whilst I sleep, but I probably would have a very different experience. However, aside from sleep quality, what other problems could there be with sleeping in VR or VR chat? Well, if you're doing it in public worlds, aside from, you know, your body being unprotected, and VR chat having the reputation of gooners, which is totally accurate, but otherwise you may have to deal with some nuisances, people that come into the world to purposely wake you up.
That was me. That was me. I was bored, okay? I felt like being an asshole. Oh, God.
As I said before, this has been a thing for years on VR chat.
Yeah, people like to troll people in these worlds.
People that come into these worlds just to troll and get your reaction. And I must admit, it's funny to see happen, but probably annoying to experience.
Yeah.
Imagine hearing the Apple alarm blaring in your ear when you're trying to sleep would probably inspire some PTSD, but this problem still persists to this day. But interestingly enough, is easily countered nowadays in VR chat. Probably the easiest way to counter it is just going to a private world and not sleeping in a public.
If they're gonna do this shit, that's what they should have done to begin with. If they're gonna complain about people trolling them, like what?
But then those people who love sleeping next to their favourite anonymous cat girl, that is probably a blue-collar worker, can't get their usual social sleeping hit. But that would be the best way to counter being trolled and having your ear canal burst. But recently there is another way, with things like groups now on VR chat, which we spoke about before, regarding the many ERP groups there are. God help us. But there are some of these groups for sleeping, and with said groups they can have public group instances, which are very different from normal public instances. First of all, group instances can be closed off to people only in the group, so those trolls can't join unless they are in that group or friends with someone in it, so you can sleep in relative peace with others that came to sleep as well. Also, even if it is a public group instance, compared to a normal VR chat lobby, where if somebody is being a nuisance and you want to get rid of them, you would have to vote to kick them, which most times doesn't usually work. Group instances usually have moderators that will just straight up get rid of people. And believe me, I looked into some of these sleeping group instances, and they are very strict. They have admins that even if they hear a peep of an audio clip, they are on you like round 6 dogs.
Fetch me their souls!
You can't even speak in the lobby.
All the COD Zombies people get that reference.
I've been banned from one of the group instances for hot micing in desktop. I didn't know my mic was on. But once again, even with all these new measures, it is still possible for people to troll those sleeping. But it's a lot better than what it used to be. And it's easier to find like-minded people who want to sleep in VR chat. So that is VR chat sleeping. What is somewhat the benefits, the problems, and my own experience with it. And you'll never see me in this fuckboy avatar again, but I'm still not paying $500 for my own. Although it would be a good tax write-off, but I did severely underestimate how much it would be for my own avatar. I haven't got the same amount of wealth as some of these fairies that can commission these avatars. VR chat sleeping is something that may be viewed as sort of weird from the outside looking in, but it's something that is relatively normal within the VR chat community itself. I mean, you even have people streaming their sleep sessions on other platforms. But honestly, if you enjoy...
Why are they streaming that? Like, and if they're streaming that, why are people watching? I don't know.
Sleeping in VRChat and
I honestly don't understand
feeling
that.
like a walking corpse, then you keep doing you. There's no problem with it. I just hope you don't Pavlov yourself to the point where you can only sleep in VR. I'm now going to go overdose on my latest addiction, that is nasal sprays. But yeah, that's all I had to say, and bye-bye.
Well, yeah, that's a thing. Not a good thing. Yeah, I should just, yeah. But yeah, VR chat, it's a weird thing people do in VR chat. They like to sleep in VR, and I'll never understand it. Like it just sounds very uncomfortable to me, especially with all, again, the headset, like your headset would probably be like too heavy for that or something. I don't know. But, you know, if that's their thing, I guess. Just don't be surprised if someone joins and starts being loud if it's a public world. Just saying. If you're gonna do that shit, just... If you're gonna try to sleep in VR, do that in a private world. That's all I'll say. God, I used to troll a lot of people in old VR chat, and then I just lost interest because fuck VR chat. Anyway. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.